Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing how to make flute samples like Pvlace that are kind of more unique with a lot of effects. So as always, I'm going to go through and just break down everything I did. With this sample in particular, I used a lot of effects to alter the sounds and make them sound more unique. So hopefully you guys can learn something new, take something away from the video. But yeah, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and let's get right into it. So as you can see, I got the final sample pulled up here and we're at 151 BPM. Final sample is in A sharp minor, but everything we're going to be making is in G sharp minor. As you can see with the final sample here, I rendered it out, brought it back in and pitched it up 2 semitones. But for the MIDI and everything, we're going to be working in G sharp minor. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play the final sample so you can hear how it sounds. And then, like I said, I'm going to go through and just break down everything I did to make it. Yeah, you get the point. Very melodic, very ambient. Really kind of has a lot of unique like sounds and textures going on. And a lot of that is from the effects that I added. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and show that. Alright, so for the first sound, I just pulled up this basic marimba from Flute. I used the hard long preset, and for this MIDI, it's actually just one of the MIDIs from one of my weeklies that I send out. I send out weekly MIDIs and starters, so I'll leave a link down in the description if you're interested in that. But anyway, I just dragged in the MIDI and it fit with the sound. Already had that kind of Pvlace vibe to it. So I'll go ahead and play how it sounds without any effects, and then I'll show how the effects kind of change the sound to make it sound a little bit more unique. Yeah, as you can hear, it's already kind of bouncy and melodic. For this MIDI, I just had this original pattern right here. Started at the root note, G sharp, and then I copied it over to the same exact pattern and then just pitched it down 5 semitones. And I do this a lot for a lot of my samples, and I know I've mentioned it in some of my other tutorials as well. But it's a good way to add like variation and progression in your samples, and 99% of the time it sounds good, so why not? Anyway, with the effects, I think the effects really made it sound a lot more unique. I added an EQ to take out some of the low end. I added Portal. Once I go through all the effects, I'll go ahead and show exactly what this plugin does to the sound. I put on Sketch Cassette to add some wow and flutter, just to add some wobble, kind of like RC20. I used Valhalla Vintage Verb to add some reverb, another EQ to take out some of the harsh frequencies, and then another EQ to take out even more harsh frequencies. And then I use Maximus just to turn up the volume. Portal is a really good plugin for adding a lot of unique textures, and I kind of like it distorts the sound in different ways. So as you can see here, like stretch and smear, pitch, delay, glitch, it just adds like different effects and textures and stuff. And I use this diffusion preset from the Illusions Portal Bank by Pilgrim and Steven Schaefer. Really good for adding textures and just making the sound more unique, like I said. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it without Portal here with the reverb and the wobble and all that, and then I'm gonna show exactly what this Portal does. It already just sounds more ambient with the reverb and the wobble. Then I added Portal. So it almost sounds like a laser gun in the background. It kind of adds a little texture in the background, and it sounds really unique. It almost sounds like a one-shot sound or something that I put in there, but really it's just an effect in Portal. Sound that I use is this flute from Woodwind Solo Symphony series. I just use a staccato preset, and I came up with this pattern right here just to go along with the marimba that I just showed, but it just has this little triplet at the beginning and then 3 notes. But I added a lot of effects to this sound, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it before the effects, and then I'm gonna show all the effects and how it changed the sound. So this already sounded good with the marimba that I just showed. It already sounded like it could be a sample, but I wanted to make it more unique. So for the effects, I added fresh air, where it just boosts a lot of the high mids and the highs. And then I added little altar boy to pitch it up. And little altar boy is a good way to pitch your sounds either down or up, because it kind of adds it. Not only does it pitch it up or down, but it's different than just rendering it out and pitching it up or down. It kind of adds a unique sound. And then I added this frequencies, the same portal bank that I used for the other sound. And then I added some cassette to add some saturation and some wobble. And then I added reverb and EQ to take out a lot of the highs and a lot of the lows. And then again, I added Maximus just to make the sound a little bit louder. And so with all the effects, it kind of transforms the sound. So I'll go ahead and play it. Yeah, as you can hear, it sounds really unique between the little altar boy pitched up and the portal and the wobble and all that. It just sounds pretty much completely different. The next thing that I added was just some textures from Arcade. So I found this bank right here from Arcade. It's just really simple, kind of just in the background. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. Yeah, like I said, really simple, just in the background, just to kind of add some variation and uniqueness to the sample. And the last sound that I added was just a variation for the sample towards the end. The flute cuts out and then this comes in, and it's just kind of an ethnic sound. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce how that sounds, but it's from this bank right here. Sonic Couture has really good sounds. I knew I just wanted an ethnic sound for when the flute drops out, and I wanted another sound to come in, so I found the sound. For the effects, I added some RC20, I added effect rack, I added echo boy for some delay, some more delay, and then I added a lot of reverb, and to make it go back and forth, and then I added an EQ to take out some of the highs and then a lot of the lows. So with the effects, it sounds like this. That I added to the sample was a bass, just a one shot. Just a really quick shot bass. I laid down this pattern right here. I added decapitator, beefy preset to make it stand out more, and then I EQ'd out some of the high end. Yeah, it's just the same pattern, again copied over, pitched down 5 semitones to follow the root note. Alright, so once I had all the sounds that I wanted, I just needed to structure the sample out how I wanted to. So as you can see, for this first part right here, I have everything going with the bass, and then for the second part, I have Little Altar Boy turned up. So what I did is I just added an automation clip for Little Altar Boy. You go right over here to whatever plugin you want, right click this, create automation clip, and it'll bring in this right here. And you can control when you want the effect to come in, or when you want the effect to be on or off, or how much of it you want to be on. So I just turned it off for the first part, so it's pitched down technically. And then for the second part, it's pitched up, the flute right here. And then the flute, I took the flute out for the third part and brought in that ethnic instrument. And then after that, I kept the bass in, and I half-timed this, the marimba right here. And then I took the halftime off, brought the flute back in, and then I just repeated that pattern right here. I just copied it over the second part right here and took the bass out. So whoever's using the sample, they can use whatever part they want with the bass or without the bass. And then at the end, as always, I put the stems so that you don't want to chop from the sample directly and you want to arrange it exactly how you want, you can use the stems for that. But so yeah, so after that I just rendered it out, brought it back in, and pitched it up 2 semitones. So we were in G sharp, now we're in A sharp, and I took that and I routed it to a separate mixer track where I added some more fresh air to kind of make the highs stand out even more. I added a virtual tape machine to add some saturation and just make it sound a little bit more vintage. And then I added an EQ to take out some really harsh frequencies. And for the master, I just added another EQ to take out even more harsh frequencies, a compressor, and then added Maximus just to kind of boost the volume a little bit. But yeah, that's it for the sample. That's all the effects, everything I did to make the sample. I think adding a lot of effects, especially Portal, and just kind of messing with the different presets can really make normal sounds sound a lot more unique and just make your sample sound a lot more unique in general. Adding the little textures in the background, that's something I picked up. Pvlace breaking down his own samples. So yeah, nothing too crazy, but hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you took something away from the video. Like I said earlier, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.